Being able to spot when the market has trapped other traders has allowed me to consistently find profitable trades in the market and capture reversal trades just like this one. Or like in this trade where I was able to risk about $500 and make a return of close to $2,800. And what this does is it allows you to not have to be right very often. This trade I closed up for about $2,600, and just to show you my results over the last month doing it with about 8 trades, I have a 50% win rate, but I've made over $4,000 with this strategy because all my wins are way smaller than my losses. Each one of my losses is 400, 500. This loss was basically break even at $120, but my wins are consistently much larger than my losses, which allows me to consistently be profitable over the long run. So let me show you how you can consistently identify these traps and profit from them. The basic idea of how they works is in an uptrend, you're gonna have the market start to consolidate at some point. And what happens is a lot of the time is people will see that this trend is strong and that a sideways move is a consolidation pattern. This can often be a very strong continuation pattern. It's called a bull flag, where the idea is if the market breaks out of this bull flag, it will continue the previous trend higher. And so a lot of traders will wait for a breakout of this sideways consolidation. And once that does, they will buy up here, betting that the market is gonna go higher. And this can be something that totally works and often does work. But what happens sometimes is the market breaks out here, buyers jump in long, and instead big players and the market instead decides to just flip it the other direction. And what this does is, well, think about it. If you were buying long right here and you're getting in here, well, where's your stop loss probably gonna be? It's probably gonna be below this consolidation somewhere, because that totally makes logical sense. But all of a sudden, when you see the market start to do this, well, either it's going to hit your stop loss down here, or you're gonna say, wow, there's something off here. I was expecting this to just all of a sudden keep going higher. And so you're going to get out of the trade. And what this does is it starts a domino effect of traders getting out of their orders. And well, sellers up here like me are gonna see this and say, wow, this looks like a good spot to actually potentially go lower. This massive candlestick right here is showing a lot of strength to the downside. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting in sell orders here and bet the market's gonna go lower. And what all this does is it pushes the market lower and lower. And it can start a domino effect where the market just all of a sudden craters lower and generally gives back this area right here. And so this is an actual recording of a trade I jumped in once I saw this signal show up. Because when it comes to spotting reversals like this, it's really hard to know when the market is gonna reverse. But using these traps, I've been able to consistently get better signals because of them. Because waiting for that catalyst and that domino effect to start to play, it makes it way more likely for the market to sell off. And it allows me to, again, get that higher risk reward ratio where right here, I am risking, let's say $500. And then down here, well, I think the target is kind of down to this area down here. And that's probably $1,500 worth of movement. So I'm getting 3 times my risk roughly on this trade. And that allows me to not have to be right every time. I can be right only 50% of the time, and I'm consistently making money in the long run. Let me show you another quick example to solidify this for you. I've got a major resistance level here. And so this is the previous high right here. And so what the market did was it broke above there with a really strong bullish candlestick. And so what's gonna happen is, well, it's basically doing that bull flag again. Most likely it's going to, potentially consolidate here and keep going higher. But instead what happens is it starts to lose that steam and fail back in here. And it starts that cascading effect where all of a sudden people that are to the long side or buyers that got in up here because it broke the previous highs, they are freaking out and realizing that, it's broken this uptrend it's in. A lot is starting to look really bearish. And so they're starting to potentially exit out of the trade, or people like me are starting to say, hey, this actually looks good to the downside. I'm gonna get in short here. And so again, all these sellers come into play because, well, I short the market, I have to put in a sell order, which pushes the price lower. And if someone has bought this to close out of their position, they have to put in a sell order as well. And so those are multiple sell orders coming into play from me wanting to get in the market and someone wanting to get out of the market. And so again, it starts a domino effect of the market pushing lower. And this allows you to, again, risk a small amount and capture potentially big swings. Again, if you couple this with bigger resistance zones and bigger time frames, you can use that domino effect to capture bigger swings down. So that trade closed out there for a good 2 to 3x, and that was a great trade off of just that simple trap right there. And so if we look at the ES futures here on a 5-minute chart, what we can do with these bigger picture ideas is you can use the larger time frame to see where resistance and support levels are, and you can look for reversals between them. And so with the market currently right up here, we can look for a potential trap to happen, jump in on that, and then look to catch a reversal down to the lows of that area. And so if we zoom in on this right here, the market does a little bit of a breakout here and fails back in. And so that's the kind of trap we're looking for. And so if we go to a 1-minute chart to kind of see what that looks like a bit more, is here's that previous high, is the market has really strong bullish candlesticks here. White on my chart is a bullish candlestick, and blue is a bearish candlestick. And so what you have is a nice methodical move higher, a little bit of consolidation happens, and then all of a sudden you have a big bearish reversal candlestick. And so this is a 3-line strike pattern. This is a domino effect showing pattern I really like. And so what this shows is either traders are starting to short here, putting sell orders, betting that the market's gonna go down, or people that were buying over here are now trying to get out of their trades and cut their trades for a loss. And so seeing that triggers to me that, okay, the market is looking to reverse here. I don't just jump in when I see this, because you can see that the market starts to chop around here a little bit. And so what I want to see is I want to see a final confirmation of the market attempting to go higher. The whole idea is it's confirming that trap. As the market breaks up here, comes down, and it makes one more attempt to keep going higher here. And if it doesn't break this high and starts to sell off here, generally making a big bearish candlestick, I will jump in short there and bet the market will go lower, because that'll confirm the trap for me. And so again, we're here on a 1-minute chart in the ES futures, and essentially after seeing this candlestick print, that was good enough for me. So to show you what that looks like in real time, right here, the market is attempting to break higher here, and it starts to fail. Is it makes a good bearish reversal candlestick right there, and then followed up by a big bearish candlestick as well. And so I think that is a great signal. And so I put in an order there and bet the market is gonna go lower. And then I always put my stop loss above that lower high swing that was made that I signaled to get in on. And so from there, you have to let things play out. Another thing that actually confirmed my signal is over here on the left on a 5-minute chart, is it made a lower high as well. And so to me, what that does is it signals a lower high confirmed here. It's a nice big bearish candlestick. And so getting in short there, it's aligning with the 1-minute chart. And so from there, I look for the market to go lower. And so on my recording, you can see now I switched over to a 5-minute chart. And the whole idea with this is using that bigger picture to domino into capturing the larger swing in the range. And that's the whole goal of using these larger time frames to find a resistance or support zone, because from there, once the market starts to break down here, well, the only thing holding it is there's a little micro, you can see there's a little micro support level here. And so my thinking is, okay, market's looking great. I just have to let it do its thing while the trade plays out. I think that it might find a little bit of support here, but I don't think that's the big picture play. I will move my stop loss down and break even once it kind of gets down here. That was my whole idea, is because, well, you know, I don't know what the market's gonna do. It could come down here and bounce and go higher. If that happens, I wanna get out. But I think it's probably not gonna do that. I'm fine giving it a little bit of wiggle room, because I do think the big picture is it's gonna move to the downside here. And so that was my whole goal. It was just managing the trade and letting it move as far into this swing as possible because I think it's more likely to find support somewhere down here. With the idea that I think it's just air here, I'm okay letting it have swings back against me. Now, if we zoom into a 1 minute chart, because I like to manage on a 1 minute chart when there is a clear downtrend in place right here. You can see there's a nice downtrend line kind of bouncing off of from this high, bouncing here, and now it's starting to confirm that it's bouncing off of right here. And so that's why I move my stop loss down again is, I want to capture my profits as the trade moves in my favor, because at the end of the day, you don't know what the market's going to do. It could just decide to all of a sudden have one candlestick reverse all the way up here. And so you have to capture your profits as the trade goes in your favor. Now, of course, big picture wise, I would love to try and hold the trade all the way to those lows. But, the market will sometimes have moves in the middle where they knock me out. And so currently we're about 3 times my profit. And that is my general target that I like to go for. Anything more than that is great, but I'm also perfectly happy with managing the trade a little bit tighter if it breaks this downtrend line. One thing I want to highlight that really helped me manage this trade is on the left side, we have the NASDAQ futures, and on the right side, we have the ES futures, both on a 5-minute chart. And you can see that they are very, very similar. But both of these being at the same time, about 7:40 in the morning, is you can see that the NASDAQ was already at the support level that I had drawn, and the ES futures were not there yet. And so to me, what that says is, well, maybe we start to find some support here because one of these markets has already given that whole move up. And so I think it's less likely that we keep going lower and we could find some support here. And so because of that, I started to think about, okay, what does this look like if it's going to keep going lower or reverse and go against me? And so for here, what I did was I still want to move with this downtrend here, but once it starts to break lower here, I trailed up to right here. And so what happened here is the market did the exact same trap on the reversal side. On the NASDAQ here, it looks a little more cleaner, is it barely broke lower and then reversed, starting to look for a potential reversal higher. And so from there, I jumped out of that trade, capturing a really nice profit on that swing. And so because it did that trap on the other side, I stayed watching the market, now switching over to the NASDAQ futures, thinking, well, maybe the market's going to reverse higher now, because what I see here is a trap to the downside and a really nice head and shoulders pattern. Now, the overall trend is for the day so far is pretty bullish to the downside. So I did kind of go a smaller size because I wasn't as confident in it. Nonetheless, I still jumped in the signal. You can't be biased sometimes or scared about things. When you see a signal happen, you just have to jump in and go with what the market gives you. And so from here, I just, again, like I normally do, is jumped in on this nice little double bottom here, nice signal to go higher. And I just let the market play out. And so my thought was, maybe we come up here and hit a little resistance, and instead the market just kind of goes in a sideways trend. But, I'll probably have time to go break even by then. Or if it breaks out a little bit here, I was probably planning to go break even if the market broke here. Instead, what happened is the market just reversed pretty quickly on me. And my thought was, well, I need to hold through one pullback because the market could totally come back here and then just keep going higher. And so instead it knocked me out and kept going lower, and that's okay. Not every signal is going to work out. Again, I only have like a 50% win rate this month, but it doesn't matter in the long run. And so a big thing that has really helped me find these trades and be successful with these trades is really reading into the candlesticks and creating that domino effect I was talking about. And so this video right here is going to walk you through even more trades and how to set that domino effect up to domino the 1 minute time frame into the 5 minute time frame into the 15-minute time frame, so you can capture larger swings than what could be originally possible.